Welcome back, everyone. It's end of the third week, and this is going to be a recap of how the week went. And it's been an interesting week. It's been a lot of ups and downs this week, and let's get into it and review the week that we've had. So I want to start off by just saying thank you to a couple of my friends who've been involved with a couple of things we've been working on this week. We started off by getting a Blowfish Racing MT82 support bracket. Supposed to help alleviate some of these issues that we have with these transmissions, the high RPM lockout, just difficulty getting into gear. I want to say a big thank you to Steve over at Blowfish Racing. I was having some issues adding the parts to the cart. They came out with a new generation shifter bracket, and with the MGW aftermarket shifter that I have in the car, they said that they needed to get a different adapter bracket to make that all fit and work. I had to call Steve up at the shop, was trying to get a hold of him on Friday, wanted to get the parts shipped in time, just couldn't get a hold of the guy, which is totally fine. He's probably running the shop by himself and everything, or a small crew. But he got back to me on Monday, and we were able to connect and kind of go over it, and he helped get me all set up, so really appreciate that, Steve. Thank you so much. So let's talk about that bracket. So my friend Paul and I, we put it in my car at his dad's family shop. Really appreciate that. Thanks Walt for letting us borrow the hoist, and it went really easily. Real smooth installation. Instructions are very clear, easy to understand. Great product, really fits the car really well. I'm not paid by Blowfish Racing at all. I'm not being endorsed. I didn't get the product for free. I paid for it, guys, trust me. I'm just saying it's a well-made, American-made product, and it really did help. So let's get into that. So we put it on the car, we went for a drive. Night and day difference. Right away I could tell that it made an improvement, and it did help a couple of shifts that I had, and it alleviated that high RPM lockout. So I thought everything was great, awesome, we're good to go. We had a Friday night street legals this Friday where we were going to go racing, and you know, fingers crossed everything was going to work out well and we were going to be able to lay down some good times. Well, that's the part I want to kind of get into right now. I find a lot of times, especially with social media and everything else, we're always posting about the positive things we have happen with our cars, and look how awesome this is, and hey, check it out, it's all, you know, my car's laying down sick times. Well, the truth is, it doesn't always happen. And I haven't been drag racing in 15 years, it's been a while, and so we took it out, and it went okay. You know, first launch, I really didn't get the tires to spin very much. You know, getting your tires to spin up quickly on the road is pretty easy, but when you're on that sticky surface, it's a little bit different. So, amateur mistake on my part, just spun them a little bit and didn't really get them heated up too much, but keep in mind, they're a street tire. I'm still running the Pirelli P0 tires on the car that came with it, so, you know, you don't want to get them too hot, otherwise they become greasy. I knew that. I didn't want to get them too hot, but I wanted to get a little bit. So launched the car, launch went great. First to second shift went awesome, but that dreaded second to third, it still haunts me. It ended up bogging down on me, and I missed the gear, and the guy in the other lane managed to catch up to me. And as I started to kind of get down that track a little bit more and regain some of that speed, I started to get a bit of a wobble. And Mission Raceway, where we race, they resurfaced the track a couple of years ago, and I haven't obviously raced on it in 15 years, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was my car, I didn't know if it was something to do with the track, so I backed off a little bit. I didn't want to, you know, aggravate the situation worse or get the car to really start to wobble a little bit, and yeah, and I ended up running a 14.3, so nothing to brag about, not a super fast time, and that's what I want to talk about. That happens. that's what being a car guy to me is really all about. It's not always going to be amazing things. It's not always going to be perfect. You're going to do stuff and things are going to disappoint you, and that's fine. I feel like it's the one part we don't talk about being car guys. That's what makes us love our cars. We'll go through those times where we just hate them and things aren't working and we're frustrated, and you know, we may threaten to sell the car or move on. Don't worry, I didn't say that about this one this time, but I'm just using it as an example. And I feel it's just the other side of it, and we need to talk about it. We need to kind of share it. So yeah, I didn't have a great night. It didn't run as fast as I wanted. A friend of mine also didn't have a really good night, and so we kind of decided, you know what, let's just cut our losses there and kind of regroup. So my goals for today, originally I wanted to get all that footage for you guys on Friday and kind of just piece it all together, it'd be really cool. Here we are drag racing the cars, but it didn't happen, and that's fine. You know, I had to go into the work on Saturday to do some work as well, so I didn't really get a chance to do some filming. So I'm literally kind of scrambling to get everything together for you on Sunday and kind of put it together. So what I'm doing today and what I'm doing right now is going to get some parts, and I picked up some new Royal Purple Synchro Max synthetic gear oil for the transmission, and we're going to swap that out now and see if that helps. I know the next step for me is definitely going to be a clutch, so I talked to my friends over at Mopac and we kind of went over the pricing, and we're going to work on that next. That'll probably be one of the next big projects, is to do a McLeod RST twin disc clutch. You know, I'm sure you guys have read it all too. Fixing this MT82 transmission problem it's hit or miss. You can try one thing and it helps some people. You try something else, it helps others. So I'm kind of going through the checklist of everything that you guys are all mentioning on the forums that seem to help. So we'll give it a shot, and hopefully the fluid will help a little bit. I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket though. I think ultimately I'm gonna have to look at that clutch, just being that I'm having that issue at the 7,000 RPM right before the rev limiter. That's typically where it seems to lock out on me. I've eliminated the issue between 5 and 7, 5 and 6,500 I would really say. I've never had the lockout there, but it's just right before red line I seem to get it now still. So I think it might be the centrifugal force of a I can't even say the word. When the clutch is spinning at such a high rate of speed, the inertia is too strong, and I just can't get the pressure plate to disengage. So a lot of guys have said that seems to have been a common issue that they've had, and going to the McLeod twin disc with a smaller disc, smaller diameter, less inertia, there we go, it seems to solve it. So I'm going to give that a shot, hopefully in the next coming weeks or month or so. It's just really, I've done clutches several times. I know what's involved, and that's probably why I'm dragging my feet on it a little bit, because it's a fair amount of work for me to take on. I don't know if I can borrow my friend's shop for that long. It'd be a whole day kind of deal, so it might be something I might have to tackle in the driveway. I'm not quite sure yet. I gotta assess that. So that's where we're at, guys. That's been the week. You know, like I said, didn't go quite like how I planned, but that's fine. And that's kind of what these vlogs for me are truly supposed to be about. I'm not trying to just show all the positives and how great everything is. I want to kind of document the whole process, the whole year, and what happens. And sometimes it doesn't always go the way you want it, and that's totally fine. That's what I knew I was getting myself into. So all right, guys, this is the end of this week's video. Kind of a short one. I might piece some stuff in together here or there, but yeah, we'll regroup next week, and we'll stay positive, and hopefully we can solve these issues. All right, guys, take care. Bye.